Hello, I'm Karen and I own the Cake Tower, and in this video we're going to actually be working on our bride. Our groom is still soft, so I'm going to leave him to one side while I actually work on the bride. So I'm going to put him out of the way, and this is the stage we was at from the first video, where we've got our bride in her simplistic dress and she's got her arms and her neck into place. So what I'm going to do for this next stage is I'm going to be working on her dress. So I've got some more white, don't need a large amount, and I'm going to get a little bit of corn flour onto my hands and also to dust my worktop slightly because I'm going to be rolling out for this stage. So I'm going to give it another good knead just to make sure that it's all workable with. And I've got my rolling pin. I'm going to roll it out. There. Oopsie daisy, I just knocked the groom over. Let's stand him back up because we want him to set nicely. Stay. There we go. So I've got my ice, it's rolled out, it's reasonably thin, it's thick. I always do it thick around the edges because I actually tend not to use the edges while I'm working with my icing. And I've got, this is my largest cutter actually in my set of small cutters, and I'm going to be cutting out some circles. And when I cut them out, I just like to neaten up the edges, because the neater everything looks, the better it is. And I think that you should take pride and care when working like this. At the end of the day, it's somebody else's wedding, and you want to give them the best that you can give them, depending upon your talents and your skills. So little things like tidying up the edges makes a huge difference, because people love the detail in their tiny little figures. There. Okay, that'll do for now. Right, now what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to get some boiled water and I'm going to moisten the bottom part of the dress here and work my way up and make a nice triangle wet patch. Because I've spreading out the water the way that I have, then it'll be really quite tacky. There we go. And I'm going to look at my bride. I'm going to have her stood up for me to do this, just so that I can get this bit right, because I don't want to try and do it in the air. So I'm looking at halfway, and what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to put the circle so that it's going to be half onto the dress and half sticking out on the floor. So once I've done that, so I can lift it up and show you what I'm actually doing. So that's one, and then I'm going to do that same there, and another one here, and one more there. So I've now got 4 circles that's representing the back of her dress. I'll hold that up, you can see that. So it's making a train at the back of her dress. Now I'm going to get a little bit more water. I'm rubbing most of it off my hands this time, off my brush this time. And I'm just going to, I'll hold it up to try and show you. I'm moistening the centres of where I'm going to put the next circles. So the next circles, I'm going to try and hold it up and show you. I want the circle to go halfway, like this, and then another one there, and the third one, oops, just there, which is helping give the illusion of a dress coming out. And when building layers, it's always, you always start from the bottom and overlap over the top, otherwise it just doesn't look right as it forms. So I actually need some more circles, because I need three more circles in total. So I'm just going to cut out 2 more circles, because I've got one ready, like that. There, put that out of the way, and the same again at the this point here. I'm going to moisten and make sure that there's some moisture on a dress, because I don't know if I came quite high enough up. I've got a little mark there. Can I get that off? Okay, and then we're going to put that there, that one there, and then we've got one more. So we'll moisten there, moisten the back of a dress, and put the final circle into place, which is giving this lovely trail effect of her dress. There. Now, what my next stage is, most of the water off, I'm going to moisten along these edges here, there, like that, and then I'm going to get my icing that I've already been working with. I'm going to re-roll this so that it's as workable as it possibly can be without it all drying out and cracking. And I need to, I'm taking off some little balls. These are just the little petit pois, or maybe even garden pea size pieces. Oops, that one's a bit big. I want these all to be approximately the same size so that it looks balanced. And I'm going to make these into miniature rosebuds across the edge of the circles. So that's 4, 5, 6. That's a bit big. 7. Right, so what I'm going to do is just move those to one side a minute. Put my icing out of the way. For the roses, what I'm going to do is I don't know if this is the correct way or not, but this is how I make my roses. I roll a little sausage, and then using the side of my finger there and my thumb, I just press. So I'm actually flattening out the sausage, and I want this edge here to be really the thinnest part. And most of the water off my brush. Slight bit of water along there, and then I'm just going to lift it up and roll, if I can do it, there, to make, can we see that? a miniature rose, and the first one I always put in the centre at the back of a dress there, and just tweak it a little bit, and we see that there. And the same again, and roll it into a sausage onto my hand and flatten it out. A little bit of the boiled water, lift up the end and just roll. Oops. And then this one I'm going to stick into that part there. So on each of the joins, so here and here, and the same down the opposite side, is where I'm going to put the rest of the roses. And it's always the same. You'll just roll it out into a sausage. I'm flattening it out with the side of my thumb. I find it easier that way. Other people may have shown you different ways, so whatever's easiest to you is the right way. There's no need making anything hard work. If you're finding it hard work and getting stressed out by it, then I think the best thing to do is to walk away and leave it alone. Have a little break. Have some fresh air. But realistically, I don't think you should be getting stressed out while you're modelling. Modelling is a lovely, relaxing, enjoyable art, where normally I probably don't speak to anybody, and well, I speak to the models, the actual the pieces that I'm making. I like to find out where they're going to go, and so if they're going to go somewhere where they've got a strong accent, I like to try and see if I can practice the accents of the places where people go. So I have lots of fun, and trying to do these trying to do these videos, I've actually found it challenging, in the sense that I have to be careful what I actually say, because I don't half say the daftest of things that can be so misinterpreted by people who like to use innuendos, and I never mean to be like that. So slowly but surely we're getting there with these tiny roses. There we go, look, that one into that place there. We've got one more to do on the opposite side. If you're actually not sending something like this through the post, you could actually put additional circles underneath to make it so that the back of a dress trails out even further. But I've got to be careful because I post my toppers, so I want them to arrive in one piece. I don't want them broken. Oops, a daisy, look, there we go. So we've got all of the roses into place there for the back of the dress. There, that's looking lovely. There. So my next stage is I'm actually going to get some flesh, and I'm going to put the bride's head on now. So excuse me, I'm just going to have a sip of my coffee. That's better. Right. So I'm rolling a ball for the bride's head, And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to carefully hold the bride without trying to do that. I want to just check that the head's going to be roughly the right sort of size. She doesn't want her head to be huge, she doesn't want it to be tiny, and I've got to be careful because I don't want to break those. I'm just going to take a small bit off because I think that was a bit too big. Now then, for the bride I'm going to do her head shape, and I'm going to use a very small amount of water, of the boiled water, on the actual neck area. And it only needs to be a small amount because if you do it too much the neck will then become soft again, which is already set hard. So I'm just going to see if I can hold her up so that you can see this. What I'm going to do is I'm going to get her head and I'm going to wiggle her head into place. And I want it so that she's looking, so she's got a nice neck and a nice shaped head. I'm just putting her down to the work surface just so that I can see from this angle. And I'm going to work from this angle because I need to support the back of the head so that I don't snap the actual neck while I'm putting in her facial features. So I've put a smile in and I'm indenting with the ball tool for her eyes. I'll just lift her back up so you can see that. And then exactly the same for the groom. We're just going to take off some small pieces of flesh for her ears. There's one. And a little bit for her nose. I'll put the flesh back in the bag to stop that from drying out. And I'm going to get most of the water off my brush, and I'm actually moistening the sides so I can put her ears there. I'm rolling, doing the oops daisy, the little teardrop shapes, and put in her ears. It is easier, really is easier to do them while they're actually stood on the work surface rather than holding it in hand to show you. So, and then I'm just going to support there and put her ear into place, and the same on the opposite side. There we go. Oops, sorry. There we go. And then one last little bit of water for her nose, and just stick that into place there. Like I said, my character's quite postman patified, but there we go, look. So she's got her head, she's got her dress. So what I'm going to do now, while I've still got the groom, here he is, look. We're just going to stand them side by side. And the groom just, if I can hold these up, I'm trying not to squash the back of her dress. Right, if I hold her there and I hold him there, you can see they're a good size next to each other. Stand them back up. Make sure the dress is still alright because I've been moving them around. Right then, so what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to put them to one side. I'm just going to wipe my surface where I've been rolling out and get my paper towel, because the next piece I'm going to use the Cadbury purple, and because I haven't actually kneaded it because I was concerned I was going to get stained fingers, I just need to knead that. There. go. I'm going to get the groom back. And for the groom, I'm going to break off a small amount. There we go. Look, we're still on the little pea-sized pieces, and again back into the teardrop shape or pear shape. I'm going to flatten this one out slightly, and then I'm going to get most of the boiled water off again. I'm going to just put some boiled water here, and then put that into place for his cravat. And we need the knife tool. I just like to do, if you do a little indent in it, it helps give it the realism, but also helps press it against the person to hold it into place. So that's his cravat. And then I'm just going to put some boiled water. Do you know the line where we did it for his pocket? Just put a little tiny bit of boiled water there. And then, depending on how big we want his rose, I think that might be a bit big, we're going to just do the same as we did for the bride, I'm so sorry, groom, stand up, mate. Right, put him out of the way, dangerous. And the same again, so we've got our ball, we're going to roll it into a sausage, and then flatten out there, a little bit of boiled water across this edge, and roll it so that we've got our rose. And then we're just going to put the rose there for his buttonhole, and there he is, beautiful. And then for the bride, because she's having a matching bouquet, which tends to be the case, so I'm going to do, we'll see, I think I'm going to do 3 roses for her bouquet. Never needs to go over the top for the bouquet. You can do all sorts, and you can add, you can add leaves and things like that if that's what you've been asked for, but this is a simplistic version, so we're just picking out the accents and trying to make this be as nice as possible. So we've got our rose there. Now then, what to be careful, I've just used my brush to moisten this purple, which is really dark purple. The chances are it's actually stained my brush slightly when it's changed the colour of the water. So I'm giving my brush a really good wash in my boiled water, and then just getting a fresh piece, just so that when I actually moisten her hands where she's going to hold the bouquet, that I don't end up with purple staining. So I like to do the first flower in the centre of it. Whoops, daisy. The first flower in the centre, and work from there. So that's one rose. And same again, we're squashing it down, making it thinner near the edge so that we can get the nice edges of our little roses, and then rolling it. Oops. And carefully sticking that into place. You have to press quite firmly, so you might lose some of the shape of your rose, but you can still tweak it slightly so it looks like the rose is actually more open rather than a rose bud. There we go. Put that there and roll that. there, and that one can go into place there. Oops, stay. Are we happy with the roses? I need maybe a bit more boiled water to make sure that the roses actually stick to each other. Oopsie daisy, that didn't work very well at all, did it? There isn't enough boiled water there, so we'll redo that, and I'm going to actually redo the roses in that case, because if I try and roll those back up, they're just going to be really sticky from the moisture. So I'm very sorry, you'll have to bear with me when I do that again. 1, 2, so we're going to roll it, turn it into a sausage, flatten it out, moisten it down the edge, and roll it there, and try again. I've also got to be careful of the stainage that is actually starting to happen to my hands, to make sure that as I don't know if you can, whoops, I don't know if you can see the stains that are starting to come. It's only slightly on my skin, but if my skin gets moist and I touch her dress, I'm going to leave her with purple streaks on her dress. If that happens, then what you need to do is get a clean brush, some clean boiled water, and then moisten that area quite a bit, and then get some fresh paper towel and dab it off, and then keep wetting it and dabbing it until eventually it's all gone away. So I wouldn't worry, but to save you having to go through that process and be upset that all your hard work is seemingly being ruined. Right then, I am going to just lift her one more time very carefully, just so that you can see the roses into place there. And that is the end of this video at this moment in time. So the very final video is where actually I'm going to put their eyes into place and put the hair on, and I will also show you how to make her dress change from this matte finish into a beautiful satin finish. Thank you for watching.